Welcome to the Get Wisdom podcast.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Miranda.
And for you folks looking for maybe a new way to do life or trying to figure out how to get unstuck in, well, any area of life, really. Or maybe you just need a new perspective on your current circumstances.
We can definitely assist you with all of those things.
Yeah, check us out at www.getwisdom.cc.
Today, we'll be taking you through the white paper by Brent Ziemann on understanding and overcoming imposter syndrome. Our goal is to give you some really actionable insights.
Things you can actually use.
Okay, so let's try and unpack this a bit. Lots of us have felt that little flicker of self-doubt, I think. But what exactly is this kind of sneaky imposter syndrome that Brent Ziemann describes? It sounds like it's more than just a fleeting feeling.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
And it's probably more pervasive than most people realize. Ziemann talks about it as that relentless inner script, that little voice constantly whispering, you're a fluke, you don't really deserve this. And what's really insightful, I think, is that he points out it often spikes after sudden wins or, significant external recognition.
Oh, interesting. So when things are actually going well.
Exactly. When that outside validation kind of outruns your internal sense of self, your identity, and this creates this gap, this chasm, really.
Okay.
And it shows up in ways that can be pretty destructive, but subtly so, like an almost compulsive need to be over-agreeable or persistent self-doubt that just eats away at you.
Yeah.
Chronic procrastination, delaying things, and this weird mix of both craving praise but also like deeply fearing it and pushing it away when you get it.
So it's not just a confidence dip then. It's more like an active internal saboteur, something that's undermining our progress and well-being.
That's a great way to put it, an internal saboteur.
That's where it gets really interesting for me because it moves beyond just an internal struggle, right? It starts having very real-world consequences.
Precisely. Ziemann is clear on this if you leave it unchecked. That fluke narrative, it can seriously stall your creative output. It can damage really crucial relationships, both professional and personal. And it can even directly impact your revenue or your career advancement.
Wow.
Yeah. It's basically a blocker for your full potential. It turns that internal feeling into a very real external barrier.
That's a powerful way to frame it. And frankly, a little alarming. It makes you wonder, how does this inner script, as he calls it, actually get so much power over us? What are the underlying mechanics keeping us trapped? Feeling like imposters, even when all the evidence points the other way.
Right. And what's really fascinating, I think, is how Ziemann breaks down these core mechanisms.
Yeah.
He makes them really tangible. He identifies 5 key culprits, basically.
That's right.
Yeah. First off, there's what he calls identity lag.
Yeah.
So imagine you get a huge promotion or maybe win some prestigious award. Your external success, that updates instantly, right?
Right. Everyone knows.
But, Ziemann points out, your internal identity, how you really see yourself deep down, that updates at a snail's pace. It lags way behind. And that gap, that difference between your reputation soaring and your own self-perception kind of lagging.
Yeah.
That's a major source of anxiety, often hidden. It's like your resume got promoted, but your inner selves didn't get the memo.
Right. Didn't get the memo. That really resonates. It's that feeling of looking around, thinking someone's going to call you out, even when you're the one supposedly in charge.
Exactly that feeling. Okay, so then the second thing is the externalization trap. This happens when your sense of self-worth gets totally tangled up with external praise or criticism. So you stop just being yourself and you start performing for others. Your value feels like it depends entirely on what other people think, which, makes your foundation incredibly shaky, like a house of cards.
Constantly seeking approval.
Yeah. Then third, there are trigger loops. Think of these as patterns, old emotional imprints, often from way back, maybe childhood or past experiences.
Yeah.
They get activated by certain situations now, and they fire up these reactive behaviors. You respond almost automatically, often in ways you later regret, and then the whole cycle just repeats itself. It's this self-perpetuating loop pulling you back into old, unhelpful ways of reacting.
Gotcha. Like pushing an old button.
Exactly. Fourth, Ziemann flags future addiction. This is when worry just pulls us constantly out there into the future.
Yeah.
Endlessly speculating about what might go wrong or what we should be doing next week, next month.
The what ifs.
Yeah, all the what ifs. And this obsession with future unknowns. It completely steals our ability to be effective right here, right now, in the present moment, which is actually the only place we have any real power to act.
Good point.
And finally, number 5 is pressure framing. We tend to view pressure as this big, bad threat. something dangerous to be avoided.
Yeah, definitely feels that way sometimes.
But Ziemann challenges that view. He argues that pressure is actually a signal. It's a cue. It tells us to focus, to refine what we're doing. It's a sign that something important is at stake, rather than just impending doom. It can actually be a really powerful force for good if we reframe how we see it.
Wow, okay. That lays it out so clearly. It's not just one thing. It's like this conspiracy of these 5 mechanisms all working together to keep us feeling stuck.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
So understanding why we feel like imposters is huge, but the really powerful part is what Ziemann offers next, right? Not just awareness, but a path out. He lays out some core principles, like a foundation for change.
Absolutely. He really emphasizes that, understanding the problem is crucial, yes, but real transformation. That requires intentional action. It needs a pretty profound shift in mindset. So he offers these 5 guiding principles that act as the bedrock for making that lasting change.
Okay, what are they?
So the first one is, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Growth, by its nature, feels awkward. It feels messy, sometimes vulnerable. Ziemann says that feeling, that's not a danger sign. It's actually a good sign.
Really?
Yeah, it means you're pushing your boundaries, you're stretching. So keep going. Don't let that discomfort trick you into backing down.
Okay, embrace the awkwardness. I like that.
Exactly. Second principle, and this one is, I think, really powerful. Surrender titles daily. Your achievements, your accomplishments, their outcomes. They're things you did or things you received.
Right.
They're not who you are. Your inherent value isn't tied to your job title or your awards or how many followers you have online. It's about choosing to embody a quality like curiosity or discipline, not just playing a role.
Surrender titles daily. That's a big one. It really shifts the focus from what you have or do to who you fundamentally are. That feels like it could really help decouple self-worth from that external validation trap.
It really does.
Okay.
Okay, third principle, spot and diffuse triggers. So when you feel that old emotional pattern starting to fire up, don't just ignore it or react automatically. The idea is to name it. Acknowledge the sensation in your body, breathe through it, and then consciously, deliberately re-choose how you want to respond.
Taking back control.
Exactly. You gain incredible agency by interrupting that automatic reactive pattern. Fourth principle, live now. We talked about future addiction, right? Well, the antidote is realizing the present moment is the only guaranteed moment you actually have. So reclaim your power, your capacity to act effectively by bringing yourself back to what's happening right here, right now. That's where your power truly lies.
Okay. Focus on the now.
And finally, the fifth principle, use pressure wisely. Instead of seeing it as a threat, view it as a compass, something pointing towards what truly matters to you. It's a signal that something significant is on the line, and that awareness can actually be a source of focused, powerful energy, rather than that paralyzing fear it often triggers.
Okay, these principles sound like a total reorientation, but I mean, how do we actually do them? It's one thing to understand the concepts, but putting them into practice in our busy lives, that feels like the tricky part.
Yeah, and that's exactly where Ziemann's A-line framework comes in. He doesn't just leave you with principles. He gives you a concrete 5-part system, something you can run every week. This isn't just about, positive thinking. It's about real, repeatable actions you can take to transform things. And you can even measure it.
A weekly system for transformation. Okay, tell us more about Align. What does each letter actually help us do?
Right. So ALIGN is an acronym. It stands for a deliberate weekly practice designed to really anchor your identity in something solid, something internal.
Okay.
So first, A is for audit identity versus outcomes. You actually sit down and write 2 columns. One is who I am being, and the other is what I did or received.
Okay, like a comparison.
Exactly. The goal is to see how much of who you think you are is actually tied to external stuff, praise, status, titles. So you circle the items in that identity column that depend on those things. Then you link them across to the outcomes. And here's the key step. You rewrite those identity items. You reframe them as stable internal traits. Things like curious, disciplined, creative, resilient.
So you're shifting it from external validation to internal qualities.
Precisely. Helps you internalize your worth, making it much less shaky, much more grounded. Okay, next, L is for locate triggers. This involves asking yourself a specific question. What's the earliest scene, maybe from my past, that feels like this current trigger?
Digging deeper.
Yeah. You identify the specific sensation in your body and the story or narrative that pops up when that trigger hits. Then, very powerfully, you label it. This is a trigger, not the truth. Just naming it like that, detaching from the immediate emotional hit, that's incredibly liberating.
Okay. This is a trigger, not truth. Got it.
Then we have I for inhale, integrate. This is a quick but surprisingly powerful 90-second breathing exercise. It's simple. Breathe in for a count of 4, then breathe out for a longer count of 6. You do this for about 10 cycles.
4 entities, 6 out.
Yep. And while you're exhaling, you silently repeat a phrase to yourself. Release performance. Return to being. It's a physiological trick, really. It calms your nervous system right down, helps you recenter your focus on who you are, not just what you're doing.
Release performance, return to being. I really like that. That feels like a core message here.
It really is. Okay, next is G for generate present moment focus. The key here is discipline. You pick just one near-term objective for the day or the week, not 5, just one.
Only one.
That's hard. It is, but it's crucial for focus. Then you chunk that one objective down into maybe 3 to 5 specific, manageable tasks you can actually complete today. And Ziemann suggests using what he calls the one-screen rule.
One screen rule.
Yeah. You work in a single computer screen or a single app until a specific task is completely done. No switching between emails, browser tabs, whatever. It minimizes distractions and really maximizes that deep focus.
Okay. Intense focus on one thing at a time. Makes sense.
And finally, N is for neutralize pressure. This comes back to reframing how you see pressure. See it as proof that something genuinely matters to you. Then you ask yourself, what quality of being would help me handle this situation with grace? Maybe it's calmness or precision or courage.
So you choose a quality.
You choose a quality. Then you actively embody that quality for about 60 seconds. Think about your posture, your breathing. You do this before you actually act or respond to the pressure. It prepares you to respond thoughtfully, powerfully, instead of just reacting impulsively.
This provides such a clear, almost like a prescriptive path forward. It's not just about understanding, it's really about doing. That phrase, release performance, return to being, feels like a mantra everyone could use. It really shifts you from needing that external pat on the back to building internal resilience.
It absolutely does. And, to make this A-line framework really stick, Ziemann doesn't stop there. He provides a practical 30-day playbook. It has specific daily and weekly tasks, plus a really quick protocol for those inevitable moments of pressure that just pop up.
Okay, so daily and weekly actions, what do those look like?
Yeah, so the daily tasks are designed to take maybe 10, 12 minutes total.
Yeah.
Pretty manageable.
Okay.
You start with a 2-minute identity surrender, just mentally stating something like, today I release the need to be seen as title XYZ. I choose to be quality, like focused or calm. It sets your internal compass for the day.
Got it.
Then you follow that with 3 minutes of the breathe work, that 4-count inhale, 6-count exhale, just to regulate your system.
Okay.
Then a quick 3-minute trigger scan. Ask yourself, where might I get hooked today? What situations might trigger me? And what will I practice instead? It's about building that proactive awareness.
Planning ahead for triggers? Smart.
Yeah. And finally, maybe 2 to 4 minutes for your objective and tasks. Pick your one objective for the day, break it down to those 3 to 5 small tasks. And he advises starting with the hardest, smallest one first. Get a quick win. Build momentum.
Hardest, smallest first.
Yeah.
Interesting tactic. Okay, what about the weekly part?
The weekly reset takes a bit longer, maybe around 30 minutes. First, you journal a bit. Ask yourself, where did I find myself performing this week? And where did I feel like I was truly creating from an authentic place? It helps you see the difference in your own actions.
Perform versus create.
Exactly. Then you update your 2-column identity versus outcomes page that you started in the A step of ALIG. This helps you track your progress and reinforce that internal shift. And finally, you consciously re-choose your one word of being for the coming week. Maybe this week it's integrity, next week it's courage or clarity. It acts as a guidepost.
I really like that one word of being. It feels like setting a really clear personal intention for how you want to show up that week.
It is. It's about intentionality, self-leadership. And then there's the quick protocol for those sudden spikes of pressure. The moment of pressure protocol. It takes under 2 minutes.
Under 2 minutes. Okay, what is it?
3 steps. First, just acknowledge it internally. This is pressure, not danger. That simple reframe immediately shifts your perception.
Okay. Pressure, not danger.
Second, consciously make your exhale longer than your inhale for a few breaths. Remember the 46 count? This quickly downregulates your nervous system, brings calm.
Right, the breathing.
And third, choose one tiny move, one small action that advances your main objective by just 1% right now. Just a tiny, intentional step forward. It stops you from freezing or overreacting.
Wow, that really grounds all those bigger ideas into a consistent routine, doesn't it? It makes it feel doable.
That's the goal. Make it practical. And Zeman also tackles some common challenges people run into, like setting healthy boundaries, especially if you tend towards that over-agreeableness we talked about.
Ah, yes, the people-pleasing trap. What does he suggest for that?
Well, he points out that over-agreeableness is incredibly costly, drains your time, your energy, your integrity. So he offers this simple script trio you can use to say no more easily, without feeling like you're letting people down.
Okay, scripts can be helpful.
Yeah. First, just pause. Say something like, let me check my current commitments and get back to you. This buys you crucial thinking time. Don't commit on the spot.
Good one. Buys time.
Second, if you decide it's a no, you prioritize. You could say, my main objective right now is X. Taking this on would jeopardize my ability to deliver on that. It clearly states your focus isn't personal.
Right, connects it to your goals.
And third, you can offer an alternative, if appropriate. Like, I can't take on the whole project, but I could review a draft on Thursday for 10 minutes. Or perhaps I could introduce you to someone like Y who might be a better fit. You're still being helpful, but protecting your boundaries.
Pause, prioritize, offer.
And the key takeaway he gives is, if you feel yourself about to say yes, mainly out of fear of disapproval, default to no. Your integrity is more important than temporary popularity.
Integrity beats popularity.
There we go.
Powerful. What other tools does he mention?
He offers a really useful tool called the Trigger Deconstruction Sheet. It's basically a one-page worksheet to help you systematically break down a trigger when it happens.
Oh, how does that work?
You walk through identifying the situation, naming the specific emotion, and rating its intensity, noting the body sensation, trying to recall the first memory that felt similar, articulating the protective story your mind is telling you.
Wow, that's thorough.
Yeah, and then the crucial steps. Writing a reality reframe based on objective facts, choosing the quality of being you want to embody instead, and identifying one tiny micro-task you can do in the next 5 minutes to move forward constructively. It's a really comprehensive way to process those reactive patterns and stop them in their tracks.
That sounds incredibly useful for understanding those trigger loops. What about tracking progress? You mentioned metrics.
Right. He emphasizes tracking what actually changes behavior, not just tracking for the sake of data. 2 metrics he finds really impactful are your identity stability index, just rating on a 1-10 scale each day, how steady your internal identity felt, regardless of external feedback, praise, or criticism.
Okay, how grounded you feel.
Exactly. And the second one is your creation ratio. That's the time you spend on genuinely creative, high-value work divided by your total work time. He suggests aiming for a ratio of 0.4 or higher, so 40% of your time spent creating.
Creation ratio, that's a tangible measure of output quality, not just quantity.
Right. These metrics give you real insight into your inner resilience and your productive flow, beyond just task completion. He also mentions practical tools like a daily surrender statement, gratitude lists, using physical anchors like cold water, or walking barefoot to stay present, and that one-screen work rule.
It's incredibly comprehensive. It feels like he's thought of everything, even difficult interactions. You mentioned a gray rock technique earlier.
Ah, yes, the gray rock plus clarity approach. This is fascinating. It's for dealing with manipulative or overly dramatic behavior. The idea is to make yourself as emotionally uninteresting as, well, a gray rock.
Haha, okay. Be boring.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
You offer very low emotional reactivity. You don't get drawn into the drama. But, and this is key, you maintain precise, clear boundaries and statements. You're not passive, you're just unreactive emotionally. It tends to starve the manipulator of the emotional response they're seeking.
Interesting. So you protect your energy without getting into a fight.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
allows you to stay clear and grounded without fueling the fire. He also warns against third-party triangles. You know, when someone tries to gossip or complain about someone else who wasn't there. He suggests saying something like, I'm happy to discuss this when all parties are present. Shuts it down cleanly.
That's brilliant. So practical. Does he give an example of how this all comes together?
He does. He shares a composite case vignette. Not a real specific person, but based on common patterns. Imagine a founder, maybe someone running a startup. They suddenly get massive press coverage, sales spike overnight.
The dream, right? But also
Yeah.
scary.
Exactly. Predictably, their imposter voice goes into overdrive. I don't deserve this. They're going to find me out. This leads them to start overworking like crazy, saying yes to every single request, trying to prove they belong there.
Classic imposter syndrome reaction.
Totally. So this founder starts implementing the A-line gene framework. After doing it consistently for just 30 days, their trigger recovery time, how long it took them to calm down and act rationally after getting triggered, dropped dramatically. From maybe 45 minutes down to just 6 minutes.
Wow, that's huge.
Huge. Their creation ratio climbs significantly too, from struggling around maybe 0.18 up to a really healthy 0.46. The daily surrender ritual helps smooth out those wild emotional swings between desperately seeking praise and then fearing criticism.
And the results.
The results were tangible. Revenue actually stabilized because their decisions became more grounded. They started sleeping better. And interestingly, the quality of the work itself improved because they were operating from a place of authenticity and focus, not frantic performance.
That's such a powerful transformation story. It really shows these aren't just nice ideas. They have a real, measurable impact on people's lives and their work.
Absolutely. And for embedding this long-term, Ziemann provides a clear 90-day implementation roadmap. It breaks down the process into manageable phases to really solidify these new habits and ways of thinking.
Okay, a 90-day plan. What does that look like?
So for days 1-7, the focus is just on getting the daily basics down. The surrender statement, the breathe work, picking that one clear objective each day. And crucially, starting to track those key metrics like identity stability and creation ratio right away.
Build the foundation.
Exactly. Then for days 8-30, you add in using the trigger deconstruction sheet whenever a significant trigger comes up. And really consciously enforcing that one-screen rule to build your focus muscle.
Okay, layering it in.
Then, days 31-60, the focus shifts to formalizing those boundaries. Really practicing using those scripts for saying no gracefully, and actively working to increase your creation ratio, aiming for at least 0.35.
Getting more proactive.
Yep. And finally, by day 61-90, the goal is to really solidify things, aiming for an identity stability score of 8 out of 10 or higher, consistently hitting that creation ratio of 0.4 or more, and achieving at least 2 clear boundary wins per week, times you successfully held a boundary using those techniques.
90 days to really integrate it. That feels achievable. But I bet some listeners might still have questions lingering, like, what if you do all this but you still feel fake sometimes?
That's a really common concern, and Ziemann addresses it directly. His advice is, remember that feelings often lag behind results and actions. Keep up the rituals, trust the process. Your consistent actions are what rewire your brain, and your identity will eventually catch up. Don't wait to feel different before you act different.
Act first. Feelings follow. Any other common questions he tackles?
Yeah, a couple. Like, isn't pressure just bad? He clarifies. Chronic, unrelenting pressure. Yes, that's detrimental. But acute pressure, the kind that comes with important tasks or deadlines, that's a signal. It's something you can train for and respond to constructively, rather than just fearing it.
Training for pressure.
And the other big one. How do I actually stay present? My mind wanders constantly. His advice here is practical. Make presence physical first. Use your breath, adjust your posture. Ground yourself in your body. The mental focus tends to follow the physical grounding.
Physical first, then mental. Makes sense.
Ultimately, the conclusion Ziemann reaches is that imposter syndrome really starts to fade when your identity becomes deeply grounded internally, when your triggers are understood and integrated instead of controlling you, and when the present moment becomes your default home base, not some future worry land. It really boils down to choosing being over performing, choosing action over avoidance, choosing clarity over chaos. It's about a genuine transformation, he says, not just rearranging the furniture of your existing habits.
That's such a profound thought to leave us with.
Yeah.
True transformation. It's about building that solid foundation from within, isn't it? Rather than constantly trying to adjust what's showing on the surface. That inner work, that's what really changes everything.
We've definitely covered some incredibly actionable and I think really transformative insights today from Brent Ziemann's white paper. If you'd like to reach out to Brent directly for more information or maybe some guidance, you can actually contact him. His number is 972-301-2878.
Okay, that's 972-301-2878.
Or you can email him at getwisdomprinciple@gmail.com.
Getwisdomprinciple@gmail.com. Great. And make sure to check out our sponsors over at www.getwisdom.cc sponsors.
Yeah, definitely check them out.
Thank you so much for listening today, everyone. We hope this was helpful.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Right here on the Get Wisdom Podcast.